we will discuss about voice.
Priyanka, I have heard about voice. Can you tell me what is voice? Light is not there.
Yes, I will tell you about the voice. According to Advanced Oxford Learner Dictionary, the form of a verb that shows whether the subject of a sentence performs the action, the active voice, or is affected by it, the passive voice.
Second definition.
Voice is that form of a verb which shows whether what is denoted by the subject does something or has something done to it. For example, I eat bread. It is an active voice. Bread is eaten by me. It is in passive voice.
Can you tell me how many type of voice?
There are two types of voice. First, active voice. Second, passive voice. For example, she writes a letter. It is an active voice. In passive voice, a letter is written by her.
Active voice. She writes a letter. Passive. A letter is written by her. So we can easily locate the shift between the position of subject and object, where in active voice she is the doer and action is of writing and writing a letter, where in passive a letter is there and it occupies the position of subject. So there is clear visibility of interchange of the position of subject and object in the passive structure, and we notice the dominance of third form of the verb in passive structure. Thus, the passive of sentence, she writes a letter, the same sentence in passive becomes a letter is written by her.
Excuse me, what is active voice?
A verb is said to be in the active voice when its form shows that the person or thing denoted by the subject does something. For example, I shall help you.
Then what is passive voice?
A verb is said to be in the passive voice when its form shows that the shows that something is done to the person or thing denoted by the subject.
So you mean to say that a verb is said to be in the passive voice when its form shows that something is done to the person or thing denoted by the subject.
For example, Ravana was killed by Rama.
What tenses could be converted into passive voice? What tenses could be converted into passive voice?
First, present indefinite tense, present continuous tense, present perfect tense, past indefinite tense, past continuous tense, past perfect tense, future simple tense, future perfect tense.
Thus, you mean to say that the following tenses, and the sentences in their structure can easily be converted into passive structure, namely present indefinite tense, past continuous tense, present perfect tense, past indefinite tense, past continuous tense, past perfect tense, future simple tense, and future perfect tense. Thus, in all these 8 versions of tenses, including present, past, and future, can be converted into passive structures.
Puneet, tell me, name the tense that can't be converted into passive voice.
There are tenses which can be not be converted into passive voice. First, present perfect continuous tense, past perfect continuous tense, future continuous tense, future perfect continuous tense.
So you mean to tell that these 4 sentences, the tenses in these sentences in these 4 tenses, it is not easy to convert them into passive structure, or it is not possible even. What are the tenses? Present perfect continuous, past perfect continuous, future perfect continuous means perfect continuous tenses of all present, past, and future, and finally future continuous also. So these versions of tenses can't be converted into passive structures.
Puneet, tell me, what type of sentence that can't be converted into passive voice?
Tenses that have intransitive verb can't be converted into passive verb.
Thus, intransitive verb structures, it's not possible to convert them into passive structures.
Why passive voice is used? Why passive voice is used?
Passive voice is used to show the interest in a person or the object that experiences an action rather than the person or an object that performs an action.
So, Puneet, you mean to tell that the passive voice is used to show interest in the person or object that experiences an action. A person or object that experiences an action. And so, stress or interest is on that rather than the person or object that performs the action, which means that doer becomes less significant in passive structure. And one more point I wish to tell that in passive voice, when point of view is shifted, when attached significance is shifted from subject to the object, then passive voice is used. Isn't that true, Priyanka?
Yes, of course, it is true. Puneet, I have last question. Can active voice be always changed into passive voice?
Yes, active voice can be changed into passive voice if we have transitive verb used in the tense.
So, dear Puneet, you mean to tell that active can be converted into passive. The voice, a sentence in active voice can be converted into passive voice. But there is a condition you inserted smartly telling that we must have a transitive verb used in the given sentence. Means if in any case a verb is having intransitive verb, it is not be possible for a converter to convert it into passive, and thus the sentence must have a transitive verb. By the use of intransitive verb, a sentence containing intransitive verb will not be possible for us to convert it into passive. But the sentence having only transitive verbs, it will be easily possible for anybody to convert it into passive form. We had a nice discussion on voice with the resource person of the day, Mr. Puneet and Miss Priyanka Rajput. Both of them have been very thorough on their studies, and they have compiled their answers from various sources. They neatly answered the questions raised by each other, and I am really thankful to both of you. So, thank you for making this session so much interactive.
Okay, bye bye.